Senior PDC final. The first came way back in 2013 when Jamie Lewis produced a fantastic run on the European Tour. Lost out to Phil Taylor in the final of the Gibraltar Darts Trophy, you may remember that. Looking to reach his first on the floor against a man who has probably forgotten the amount of finals that he's been in. Gary Anderson, who is the top performer here in Barnsley today. The only man with a higher tournament average is Rob Cross, and Anderson demolished Rob Cross 6-0 with 108.7 average and only allowed the world champion 2 darts at double. One of them was at the bullseye. A target that Anderson hit to finish legs 3 times in that match. He just can't miss the ball, and he's not missed it there either.
Outside, so Gary's won the ball.
So Gary Anderson, well, he just wants to keep leaving
throw first.
bullseye finishes, and he'll sweep through into the final. Well, that was really an astonishing display. His best of the day so far, 100. And it all started against Terry Jenkins earlier on today. Gary Anderson trailed 5-1. And he started the journey back, managed to overturn that deficit. And here he is in the semi-finals. Jamie Lewis to win, says Sam Hill. Well, let's see. Hashtag PC3. It's going to be Lewis, Anderson, Wright or de Graaf. Wright and de Graaf battling it out right now on stream 2 for a place in today's decider.
100.
Anderson's other victories came against Gary Eastwood, Simon Stevenson and Steve Hine.
81.
That was his quarter-final win against the Muffin Man. As for Jamie Lewis, well, we saw his last match here on the live stream against Joe Cullen. But before that, he'd beaten some decent names as well. Diogo Portela, Adam Hunt when he hit a 9-darter along the way. Stephen Bunting and Danny Noppert. As Gary Anderson fires in a maximum. But we have a chance here for Jamie Lewis to take out 127 in game. And he's not going to. And he's left himself 34 when he returns. If he returns, because Gary Anderson does not miss the bullseye. Just doesn't happen. He's at it again.
'83.
Well, here he goes again, Gary Anderson.
180.
Bullseye to finish the first leg. Now 180 to kick off the second. He teased us with the prospect of a 9-darter in the final leg against Rob Cross. He went off back-to-back 180s then. Well, Jamie Lewis has already had one today. With Gary Anderson, who would love to repeat the feat.
177.
And he's on it. He's on it. And he's got rid of the tricky treble 19. Could Jamie Lewis hit a 9-darter himself and then have one hit against him? All in a day's work of Barnsley.
120.
Here we go then, Gary Anderson. He's got the 180. He's got the 177. He ain't going to get the 144.
100.
Looked like such a good guide for Gary as well, but in the grand scheme of things, he's already bossing the match.
59.
Now going the Motown route. 4 tops for Gary Anderson. A 2-0 lead. No 9-darter. And I know it's only 2 legs, but he's averaging 116.
100. $140. 140.
And just as I mentioned with Rob Cross earlier, Jamie Lewis has never beaten Gary Anderson either. 4 meetings before today, exactly the same amount as Rob Cross had.
140.
First of those was way back in 2008, when Jamie Lewis was still a teenager. A couple of events in the
81.
BDO they met in that year, Anderson winning them both. In the PDC they met in 2013, Anderson won 6-1. And once last year at the UK Open qualifiers when Gary won 6-3.
180.
As Jamie Lewis fires in his first max and leaves himself on 41 after 9, not too shabby.
100.
So he can cancel out the break here by landing double 16.
Game shot.
Yes, very nice. A dozen dart breaker throw for the Welshman. He's going to appear in the World Series of Darts later
60.
this year, Jamie Lewis. Gary Anderson is a man who's used to those
96.
tours around the world and the big stages in World Darts, of course, playing his trade in the Premier League at the moment. And he'll be in action in Nottingham on Thursday evening,
100.
where Gary Anderson takes on Raymond van Barneveld. We'll also see the Green
140.
Machine back. He's not here this weekend, Michael van Gerwen, but Peter Wright is, and he's in action in the other semi-final right now. He just won the other semi-final, actually, Peter Wright, so he's the man who will await the winner of this, a 6-3 win
135.
against Jeffrey de Graaf for Snakebite. Now can Anderson bite back?
133.
Well, I kind of wanted him to take the 95 there, just to leave the 170 again. For the way he's been hitting the bullseye, why not go bull, double 16 in the next visit?
174.
Pressure on. The 174 setup from Lewis. Anderson does hit the bull, and he doesn't hit it with a second dart, and it looked very, very
92.
inviting, didn't it? But Lewis to level. Yes,
Game
full
shot.
credit to Jamie Lewis. He's caught up, fought back. 2-0 behind, it's 2-2.
140.
And we could well wax lyrical, as we often do, about the standard of play of Gary Anderson, who is averaging 113 after 4 legs. Jamie Lewis himself is on 109.
140.
Supreme standard produced by this pair.
140.
And we know that Jamie Lewis can produce that kind of thing. Remember the game at the World Championship against Peter Wright.
134.
For the fireball.
140.
And both of these players are certainly on fire. Anderson goes 140, 140, 140 in this leg. Lewis, 140, 134, 140. Both down to 2 darters after 9. Now Anderson doesn't miss the ball, remember. Doesn't need to go for it this time, because he doesn't miss double 13 either. Jamie Lewis was poised, but Anderson just puts him back in his place momentarily.
134. .96.
So Peter Wright awaiting the winner in today's final. Will it be a first on the
100.
floor for Jamie Lewis? Or a 10 millionth for Gary Anderson? Statistics may not quite be accurate.
140.
But full credit to Jamie. He's really taking the game to Gary Anderson here.
59.
not allowing Anderson to just demolish him as he looks to leave. Well, at least the 132 now, but he's filled it up instead. Done even better. Down to 94, Anderson, by virtue of that 171 setup. So this now means Jamie Lewis's throw is in real danger, but he's fighting back.
180.
Really, really good game of darts, this. And Anderson was looking for double-double.
18.
Well, he's thrown both darts out of the board there. That's not advisable. Left himself on 76 and
Game
it's rendered futile as Lewis takes out the 28 on double 7 in the end. But he's a man who can afford to waste 2 darts and still be averaging 114. An incredible standard of play here.
$57.
And who knows which way the pendulum will swing. 3 apiece in this semi-final contest.
140.
Anderson off back-to-back 140s yet again. And this is on course to supersede anything that he's done already today.
100.
Fantastic performances throughout from the Flying Scotsman.
125.
And adds a 125 now to get himself down to a 2-darter after 9 again. Jamie Lewis way back in this leg, but he's edging closer.
140.
Well, double 9 for a dozen dart leg.
78.
Doesn't go, but Anderson has the luxury of knowing that he will return, with Lewis not on a possible out.
$42.
Well, Lewis hasn't left to finish again
Game
here.
shot.
But Anderson pins double 9 to move ahead again. And he's now 2 away from an all-Scottish final against Peter Snakebite Wright.
59. $131.
Well, I'm not quite sure how much longer Jamie Lewis will be able to live with this, because Anderson is just throwing everything at him. Turn-on-turn pressure is phenomenal.
100.
Unless something goes badly wrong, it's going to be a huge 3-figure average. Or can he find a way to the treble 20?
60.
The answer is no, so Lewis has the chance now to make some hay. Needs a treble to leave a finish.
60.
Opted to stay up there, and it's advantage Anderson, you feel now. The time to strike has arrived. Gary Anderson, well, surely he can't stay there.
97.
Sensible switch.
$60.
Right, 113 for Gary Anderson, the target. There's the first bit. There's the second.
Game shot.
And there's the end result. It's easy for Gary Anderson. Just does not look like missing. Could see Jamie Lewis there, a kind of
93.
shake of the head in disbelief of what Gary Anderson's throwing at him. Absolutely relentless stuff from the 2-time world champ. And now just needs one more leg
60.
to reach today's decider.
140.
But it's just dipped a little from Jamie Lewis.
60.
And that's not a criticism at all. It'll be hard for anyone to live with this from Gary Anderson.
43.
And that by far is worst scoring visit of the match.
98.
But he's still in comfortably in pole position. Just needs to
90.
make sure he leaves himself a check out, which is why he went for the bullseye. And it would be a nice way to wrap it up. Well, Lewis is not going to be on and out himself, so Anderson has choices
60.
here. Doesn't have to go the ball routes. The way he's been hitting it, I suggest he might as well. Yeah, he does go that way. To finish in style.
95.
Oh, Gary, don't tease us. It's probably the right thing to do, but I guarantee that Gary Anderson would have hit the bullseye then.
59.
Anyway, double top to reach the final
Game shot and the match.
with another quite fantastic display. Gary Anderson moves into today's decider, an average of 110, a 6-3 defeat of Jamie Lewis. He will take some beating. Can Peter Wright do it? Find out in around 10 minutes' time.